are, week 6, Weekend Dad's Power Rankings. Welcome into the show. I went ahead and already clicked in. So this is looking at week 5, our results basically on the week. Four out of our top 5 teams all taking the L. Booty Pebbles the only one taking the win there to move to 4-1. So it was pretty crazy last week. The curse of the number one in the power rankings lives on. Zappy Zaprilla taking that L the last week after being ranked number 1, only dropping like 84 points or something crazy. Really had a rough week, but it seems to be that position, man. Number 1 in the power rankings just happens to be cursed. So yeah, we got our quick look here though. Let's go ahead and roll right into them. Starting at number 10, we got the Gibson. So Colin actually he won last week, was able to knock out the Nutcrackers and get his first win on the season, moving to 1-4. But still just hangs out there in the number 10 spot. So this was really on the back of Mike Evans, Alvin Kamara. Kamara had a great game finally. The Saints just looked like they didn't know how to use them, honestly, the past couple of weeks. It was like, what is going on? But he was able to get the really close victory, honestly, over Austin, only 3 points. So close game with them right there, but able to squeak it out. Not able to move power rankings though. So move on to number 9. We got the Team Tots. Team Tots dropping down a spot from number 8 to down to number 9. So Tots was actually the one that took out our last week's number 1, Zappy Zaprilla. He still only scored 113 points in his win. Zayd only scored 85, so low scoring matchup there. But Team Tots able to take home the victory. Still dropped down a spot. And I mean, overall, it's same story with Eric. Really, it's Mahomes and Tyreek Hill are his 2 big players that he needs to go off. DK Metcalf was able to have a big game last week, but Eric's team's just been a little bit weak all season. And yeah, so we'll go ahead and move on to number 8. Number 8, we got the Cheeky Chinchillas. So they actually gained a spot despite losing last week to the father of the mag. So the Cheeky Chinchillas has just been a tough spot all season. Haven't got the production out of the receivers that they're really expecting to. Running backs have been a rotating, revolving door basically the whole season, with trying to mix and match different injuries or waiver wire running backs that are available. And there's actually been a rebrand. I guess we're gonna have to change up on the power rankings. Cheeky Chinchillas, breaking news, have rebranded to the Piss Boys. So really going all in on the wide receiver only team, and hoping that the wide receivers can finally do something. So we'll see if he's able to actually capitalize on all those receivers and finally start scoring some big weeks like he really expected coming into the season. So Cheeky Chinchillas there at number 8. Coming in at number 7, we have last week's number 1, Zappy Zaprilla. So holy cow, Zayd. You go up to number 1, and then the next week you drop at 85 points and then drop 6 spots in the power rankings. Like, what's going on? So they're going to be 2-3. Just a bad week all around for Zayd, really. I mean, I'm going to look at his last week. Saquon got hurt early, only had 0.9 points for him. It looks like he shouldn't miss too much time, but still going to miss time nonetheless. David Montgomery got hurt, I believe it was last week. So had an injury there, wasn't able to start one of his top running backs. Aaron Jones kind of had a mediocre week. DJ Moore had a down week. So just a rough week for the Zarillas after being really on fire and coming up to the number 1 spot in the power rankings. But go ahead and move on to number 6 in the power rankings. Coming in at number 6, we have Booty Pebbles. So it's a little bit of a surprise. Mark is 4-1, but people might be saying, is he the worst 4-1 team that Weekend Dads has ever seen? Am I right? He did get the win over the Bebop and Baby Bears last week. Both teams were 3-1 going into that matchup, so it was a big matchup in the division. I believe that was for the division lead as well. But yeah, I mean, Chubb, Gibson had great games. He also played Chuba Hubbard, who had 16 points. Receivers were kind of down. I mean, Mark only scored 110 points, but he was still able to get the win. Someone say there was questionable management decisions on the side of the Bebop and Baby Bears, but we might have to talk about that a little bit later. Yeah, I think Mark was ranked really high, it seems, all season, but his bench has been exposed. So it came up last week that when you look past Mark's starting lineup, there's not a lot to look at down on the bottom. Looks like a very, very bad dynasty team down there on his bench. So if any injuries were to hit the booty Pebbles, he might be in danger. So I think that had a lot to do with his ranking all the way down at 6, despite that 4-1 record. People don't believe in the booty Pebbles, so I'm sure Mark's gonna be eating this up. He's gonna love it. He hates being ranked high. So go ahead and move on to number 5. We got the Nutcrackers. So Nutcrackers dropped a spot after losing to the Gibsons. I mean, they had 30 points from Austin Eckler. Started Kadarius Toney with 25, Najee Harris at 22. The strong point of the Nutcrackers has really been the running backs. Najee Harris, Austin Eckler, DeAndre Swift has his weeks. James Robinson has some great weeks. The real thing we got to talk about here, Justin Herbert on the bench, 43 points. That's got to hurt. And that was the matchup. As I said before, he only lost by 3 points. Could have had a huge week if he had started Justin Herbert and not had Daniel Jones get hurt very early with that concussion. I don't really know if that was early, but he was knocked out. Daniel Jones was dead. But yeah, I think Austin's team's solid. His receivers are a little bit shaky. Running backs seem pretty solid and consistent though. Darren Waller's always been solid. He did have a down week last week with only 6.5 points, but he'll definitely bounce back. He just gets all the targets. But yeah, Nutcrackers there at number 5. So go ahead and move on to number 4. We got the Bebop and Baby Bears. So I'm a little confused on this, but I think the Weekend Dads understand the true potential of the Bebop and Baby Bears. If everyone were to be healthy and we could get to full strength, we would just really conquer and take over, let me tell you. Well, like I said before, really upsetting loss last week. Baby Bears were really scrambling to get players to play, especially at the running back position. Had to start Chase Edmonds and Brandon Bolden for a whopping 7 points together. I'll say I didn't feel comfortable playing Joe Mixon just because of the injury. I thought he would get a very light workload, which if he didn't get the touchdown, he would have only scored 4 points anyway. So it's not like he did anything special. Sony Michel did on my bench get 11 points, but that was also because he fell in the end zone, got a touchdown. And that was only due to Darrell Henderson getting hurt for a little bit. So overall, I think the Baby Bears are in a good place if everything can be healthy, or everyone can be healthy. There was huge questionable management decisions last week that did cost the game. Starting Trey Lance, only dropped 14 points. Brady on the bench, 5 touchdowns, 38 points. So extremely disappointing that that's what it came down to, and I don't know what was happening there. What were the Baby Bears thinking? You know, Brady had taken him. He was quarterback 1, or he is quarterback 1 on the season. Had just been kind of carrying the team through its tough times, and they bench him and put in Trey Lance, and who knows, man. But we'll see what the Baby Bears are able to do if we can get Christian McCaffrey ever back healthy. It's a very sad situation, but we'll see what's going to happen. So Baby Bears, number 4. Coming at number 3, we have the Cardboard Hippos. So, I mean, looking at the Hippos, I think Dustin has an extremely solid team. He did lose last week, but he scored 182 points and lost, which is very unfortunate. Do want to mention that 182 points, that actually breaks the previous league record for highest score on a week, on a week. So impressive week there from the Hippos nonetheless. You look at Dustin's team, it's been great. He had a huge week from Jonathan Taylor with 31 points. Marquise Brown, a huge week, 30 points. Josh Allen, 37 points. Zeke, after his awful week 1 against Tampa Bay, which I think you kind of expect that with Tampa Bay's defense, but Zeke's back. He's performing great. And his receivers have been solid and consistent, really. So looking at the Hippos, they're definitely a force to be reckoned with. I mean, put up 182 points, and it was an overall team effort across the board. So great week from the Hippos, and we'll look and see what they can continue doing on the season. So I don't know what just happened right there. Coming in at number 2, we have the Chain Gang. So this is actually who defeated the Hippos last week. So big week from the Chain Gang, 212 points. Congratulations, Trevor, in your 200-point game. He was very hype about that, and it is a Weekend Dad's record for the time being. So we'll see if that gets broken anytime soon this season or anytime in the near future. He seems to think it's never going to, but we will find out, Trevor. We will find out. So this 200-point game, really huge game. Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Antonio Brown, Kareem Hunt, even Robert Woods finally woke up, scored 22 points. So huge weeks on a ton of players really for the Chain Gang. There's been a lot of doubt still around this team. He does have his big weeks. He has Travis Kelce, who's extremely consistent tight end. Lamar Jackson, we know, can blow up with rushing touchdowns and rushing yards. And Derrick Henry's been absolutely on fire the past couple weeks. So, yeah, I mean, Trevor's starting lineup's pretty great. Huge explosive power. So finds himself up 4 spots, number 2 in the power rankings after being doubted. Back over 500, and I know he's extremely hype. Got to cue that emoji all over the place. So that leaves us with one more team coming in back at the top spot, Father of the Mags. So Jimmy finds his way back to number 1 after dropping last week to number 7. After I think the previous week he was number 1, so he was number 1, lost, dropped to number 7, and then won this past week, scored 189 points. Finds himself back up at number 1. So Jimmy, you're all over the place. But yeah, I mean, Kyler Murray had a down week, honestly, looking back at it. Only 13 points, but he's been great most of the season. Jimmy's receivers have turned out to be probably best in the league. I'd have to even look at the stats, but I mean, Mike Williams, Jamar Chase, Devontae Adams all had, I mean, Adams had 33, Jamar Chase had 25, Mike Williams had 33. And I think those are all top 5, or at least top 10 wide receivers on the year. So this is what the Chinchillas were aiming for, was to have this type of wide receiver production, and Jimmy's got it. But yeah, I mean, Jimmy's team's been great. We doubted it at the beginning of the year, but his receivers have really come through. Running back's still a little shaky for him. I completely missed his Mark Andrews 37 points as well. So huge week from Mark Andrews. But yeah, I mean, Jimmy's team's extremely solid, especially with his receivers and their touchdown and big play ability. Jamar Chase, it seems like all he does is catch long touchdowns. So at least one every week. But yeah, that's going to do it for our power rankings. Got Jimmy finding his way back up top spot. A lot of shakeups there in the top 5. So after all those losses of our previous week top 5, but that brings us to Wolfie's game of the week. So for Wolfie's game of the week, I think he was pretty quick on actually deciding this, and there's a lot of repercussions. So it's going to be the battle of the 4-and-1s. Battle of the 4-and-1s, and some would say it's the battle of the glue sniffers, really. So been rumors that these two sniff or eat glue. I can't confirm that exactly, but it's gonna be Jimmy and the Father of the Mags versus Booty Pebbles. I think, yeah, I have the rankings wrong in here. Jimmy's gonna be number 1 versus Mark is number 6. But yeah, I mean, they're both 4-and-1. Mark's been scoring low, I think, the past couple weeks. Jimmy's been scoring high. We'll see what happens, but one of these teams not gonna be 4-and-1 any longer. And if I remember correctly, no, these are both our just 2 division leaders. And we'll really see what happens. So that's going to do it for our power ranking show this week. Be sure to leave a comment. Oh my gosh, how could I forget? Elmer's washable edible color glue is safe and non-toxic. I'm sorry for the disclaimer. Sorry, Wolfie, don't hate me. That's going to do it for our power rankings now. Be sure to leave a comment, like, share the video on Twitter. If you have any problems, don't tweet at me, tweet at Wolfie. And yeah, we'll see you next week. Goodbye.